Welcome back to another episode of the Ian Fritz Show. We're continuing the series. We've got the third worst thing in college football and the second worst thing in college football. They kind of go hand in hand, so I'm doing them in one video. Those things are transfer portal coming in at number three, and the college football schedule slash calendar, whatever you want to call it, coming in at number two. Let's dive into it.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State's Jalen Watts Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game. Unbelievable.
35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis.
Oh, my God.
Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal.
The third worst thing in college football, the transfer portal. The second worst thing in college football, the college football calendar. These go hand in hand. I'll get into why they go hand in hand when I'm talking about what is wrong with it and how do we fix it. But first, I'm going to take a sip from my mug. Love this mug, guys. If you want one of these, let me know in the comments. If you don't want one of them, still let me know and we'll get you one anyways because I love you guys. Man, I mean, that's a good looking mug. That's a good. And if you're listening on podcast, go ahead and get over to the YouTube video. Look at that mug. Tell me if you want one. Okay, let's get into it. What is wrong with the transfer portal? What is wrong with the college football calendar? How do they go hand in hand? Well, it's I could go a lot of different directions with this calendar, with this transfer portal issue. How do we attack it? How do we get to the meat of this issue? Well, I'll just break down the schedule. I'm not going to go through exact dates or any of that. I'm just going to give a brief outline of when all this is happening because I think that's easier. Okay, so let's just start with National Signing Day. That's when you can sign high school recruits, and that's when they are official. They're coming to your team next year at the beginning of summer, whenever they want to go. They're coming to your team. Okay, National Signing Day. Then we have spring football. You get all that jazz, spring football games, awesome stuff. Spring football ends, summer workouts begin. Those high school recruits that signed in February, they can come to campus. They can start working out with your team. Summer workouts end. You do your stuff. You have fall practice. That starts 2 weeks before the season. You're actually going through, you're hitting people, hitting them in pads. You're running through plays. You're getting everybody up to speed. Here's how we're running it. Here's what's going to happen. Okay? And then you have week 0. The season starts officially. It's a glorious Saturday. It's one of the best Saturdays of the year. However, the season starts for some people. Not everybody starts on week 0. Issue. Why are all the teams not starting on the same week? That's an issue, okay? And then you have the non-conference games. Normally during that week 0 to week 4 time frame, teams play their non-conference games. For some people are playing conference games, which another issue here, we should be playing conference games at the same time as everybody else and non-conference games at the same time as everybody else. That's another issue with this calendar, okay? And then we have the playoffs starting. So the regular season ends. Boom. We have this month off. You have the transfer portal opening up. Everybody can hop in that transfer portal whenever they want, willy-nilly. And then you have National Signing Day, early National Signing Day, December 16th, this last year, while transfer portal is happening, before the playoffs start. So, in other words, during the actual season of football, it's not over yet. We haven't had the national championship game, but players can leave willy-nilly whenever they want. Players can leave. Terrible system. And then the playoffs start. Players can still leave. You could be playing in a game the next day. You could be, okay, let's say I'm on Washington from this past year. I'm practicing all week. I'm just not feeling it. I get a call, maybe legally or illegally, from someone associated with Texas. Not Texas, they played Texas. That's a bad example. OU didn't make the playoffs. I get a call from somebody from OU and they're like, hey, we want you on our team next year. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not really feeling playing in this playoff game. I'm done. I'm hopping in that portal. He could do that. If he wanted to. But he's got a game the next day, Ian. How can he leave? He can, because the transfer portal's open. The transfer portal's open. He could do what he wants. He can hop out of there and go somewhere else. Wild concept. Malik Murphy from this past year, Texas backup quarterback, probably wasn't going to play in the playoffs, but he could have. Quinn Ewers gets hurt. He's in. But he knew Quinn Ewers was going to stay the next year, and he knew he wasn't going to outplay him to be the starter next year. So he's like, I gotta go find a place to play. I can't prepare for this college football national final game, semifinal game. I've got to go find a place to play next year. So I'm out. I'm out of the playoffs. Arch Manning, you're the backup now. Like, Arch Mann is looking around like, me? Me? I was just here for the millions of dollars I'm getting paid. I wasn't actually trying to play football this year. But Quinn Ewers goes down, boom, Arch Manning, you're in. You're in. We've got to stop that. Transfer portal can't happen during the season. Now, season for most people, technically over. But season for college football, really just ramping up. Okay. So you have regular season end, transfer portal open, sign college recruits as well. Then we've got our playoff games. Then we've got our national championship. And coaches can leave whenever they want, willy nilly. Okay. I went through that fast. But while all of that is going on, while spring football is going on, while National Signing Day is going on, while early National Signing Day is going on, while you're playing football games, while the transfer portal opens, all of that is happening. These coaches still have to recruit and they still have to follow the dead periods where you can't contact any recruit at all. They can't contact you, nothing can happen. Then you have quiet periods where you can kind of go to them and hang out with them. Okay. But then you've got official visit. All of that nonsense, all of that jazz with college recruiting, high school recruiting is happening while they're juggling this schedule mess, while they're juggling all of this nonsense. Okay. I mean, you're probably not following it right now because it's hard to follow. But the main issue here, I've got a couple main issues. We'll start with the baby main issues, and then we'll build up to the granddaddy of them all, which is the transfer portal and the calendar mixing together in not a good way. Okay. So I teased it earlier. Week zero. I love week zero. Why is everybody not starting on week zero? Okay. We should have 1 week that starts college football season. It should be week zero, week one, whatever you want to call it. That's when college football should start for every single team. It shouldn't be week zero, then you have week one off. No, everybody should play on the same weekend. Okay. I don't want this. You're starting this week. You're starting this. That makes no sense. Okay. The NFL, everybody starts the same weekend. Makes sense? Yeah, it does make sense for everybody to start the same week. Okay. Now, and then this is probably the minor issue here. Not everybody has non-conference games at the same time, and some of that is due to the conferences. Some have 8 conference games, some have 9 conference games. Just do away with all that. Just have 3 non-conference games, play them the first 3 weeks of the year, then you start conference play. This nonsense where you're having non-conference games and conference games mixed together, it shouldn't be that way. Shouldn't be that way. College basketball, they do it fantastic. You've got your 10, 11 non-conference games to start the year. Boom. Once that ends, you're playing conference basketball. That makes the most sense in the entire world. Let's get that for college football. Okay. Now, the biggest issue, gonna take a sip before the biggest issue here. Look at that mug. Doesn't it look good? It does look good. Thank you for saying that. Okay. Biggest issue. It's called December. And this December, month of December, is only going to get worse for the 12 team playoff era. And why is that? Well, the 12 team playoff era extends the calendar. Okay. So we're going to have the regular season end. We're going to wait a week, week and a half, play the first games on campus, which, side note, love that. Then we're going to wait a week and a half and play the semifinals. And then we wait 2 weeks and play the national championship game January 25th. Okay. How bizarre is that? How bizarre is that? While that's happening, the transfer portal, you're still open. National Signing Day, you can still happen. Okay. So we have regular season ending right now. Let's say it ends December 1st. Okay. Transfer portal opens December 2nd. However, the regular season ending does not signify the end of the season. Why? Because we still got the playoffs. We still have the thing that we've been building to all year. That hasn't happened yet. Yet we're doing, you can go get players from other teams. You can sign a player from Ole Miss, Alabama, whoever you want. You can go get them. Free agency, as the NFL calls it. We have that going on day after the season ends while the playoffs preparations are happening, AKA during the season. But also, while you can just sign free agents, other players in the portal, you're also trying to sign high school recruits. You're also trying to sign those people that are going to be the foundation of your program. Because let's be honest, the transfer portal guys, most of them are 1 year rentals. Dylan Gabriel, Will Howard, Cam Ward, all those guys, 1 year. Okay. The occasional Dante Moore, he'll be there a couple years at Oregon. But for the most part, your foundation for your football team, that's coming from high school recruiting. But you're also trying to get really good players out of the portal because there are really good players in the portal. But you're trying to juggle this. And I'm no juggler, but I've seen some people juggle and it looks pretty difficult. It looks pretty difficult. And that's what we're doing right now. We're juggling this bizarre scenario where you're still preparing for football games, you're signing free agents, and you're trying to get high school players to come play for you. While those high school players are like, well, wait, am I going to come play for you? I want to play year one, but you're going to go get this 3 year vet cornerback. But you said I was going to play year one. How am I going to? He's been playing for 3 years. He's probably going to beat me out. I don't want to sign with you anymore. It creates a lot of confusion for high school recruits and transfer portal guys and the coaches. Okay. We've got to get rid of this mess. Now, how do we figure this out? How do we figure this out? There are a couple ways I see where we can fix this. Number one, you got to have the season start on week 0. You got to have a definite start to the college football season. Now, the definite start technically is week 0, but that should be the start for everybody, okay? Got to be the start for everybody. And then the transfer portal cannot happen while the season is going. The season ends once national championship happens, okay? That's the end of the college football season. That is the end of it. Now, currently, regular season ends, transfer portal opens, you got that 30-day window. During that time, we're not playing a lot of football. We wait. We wait for the national. We wait for the semifinal games, and then we play the championship game the week later. We have a month off. Why do we have a month off in the middle of the season? Well, you're saying, Ian, they got to hop in the portal and they got to go for classes, finals. Okay, for one, most of these guys they're not going to school for school. Let's be honest. Okay, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. This should be football first here. Football first. Now, I'll put it over here just with some dates. They're not definitive dates of when this is all happening for this upcoming season, but I'll put it up here. Regular season ends, transfer portal opens, semifinal games, quarterfinal games happen, national signing day happens, transfer portal closes, national championship game. That's it. That is the mess we're dealing with. Now, couple solutions. You can either bump the season up, the season start date up, so you can have those weeks off in between the playoff games and in between the end of the regular season and the start of the playoffs. You can bump the season up 3 or 4 weeks, start it in July or the beginning of August, which one makes no sense. So probably won't happen. Or you can just shrink these down. Boop. Bring up these playoff games right to the end of the regular season. Regular season ends. Let's do away with the conference championship games. We don't need those. With a 12-team playoff, we don't need conference championship games anymore. Okay. You win the regular season, boom, you're number 1 seed, whatever. Okay, let's get rid of that. Conference championship games probably going to go away anyways. So let's slide those out of there. Regular season ends, boom, playoffs start the week later. Quarterfinals, boom, week later, you've got semifinal games. Boom, week later, you've got the national championship game. And then you can have the transfer portal open. Guys can leave schools, guys can come in. Makes sense. They can start school on time. Hey, we're having a great time. We're having a great time. You're not leaving during the playoffs. Nobody's leaving during the playoffs. It's fantastic. And we get out of here. We start the new season with National Signing Day in February. And that signifies boom, new season is starting. Here we go. Here we go. Some of I think that's a fantastic idea. And that's probably the simplest way to solve this issue. Instead of season playoffs, instead of season, portal, playoffs, National Signing Day, we need to go season, playoffs, portal, signing day. Or if you still want early signing day, which I like this version more, I want early signing day because I think it those players that sign early can go enroll in school the second semester. But it also forces these players this new way sign. You can have early signing day before the season starts. So those players that are going to go be seniors, they can sign before the season. Then you have the season, then you have the playoffs, then you have the portal, then you have regular signing day. So you start the season with National Signing Day, you end it with National Signing Day, which signifies the beginning of the next year. You can bookend it that way, or you can go season, playoffs, portal, signing. Either one of those ways solves this issue instead of going season, portal, playoffs, signing. The issue is the portal, boom, thrown in the season. Makes no sense. You can't have player acquisition during the season. That's the biggest issue with the calendar right now. You can hop out, you can leave whenever you want. Makes no sense. You can't do that in college football right now. Shouldn't be how it is happening. Now, I would go signing players, season, playoffs, portal, signing players again. That's how I would do it. I think that will be better for the overall health of the sport. But if you want to get rid of early sign day anyways, get rid of it. I'm fine with that too. But we've got to get rid of the portal sandwiched in between the season and the playoffs. Makes no sense. It's horrible. We got to get rid of it. Now, you're probably saying, Ian, how is this not the number one and number two issues in college football? And you're going to have to stay tuned for next episode because the next episode is the number one issue in college football, and we'll talk about it. Thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. Hit that subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me everywhere you want to follow me. Not in real life, though. That would be creepy. Thank you guys for watching. I love you guys.
Whoa,
Bye.
he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State's Jalen Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game. Unbelievable.
35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There it goes.